Hello, this is a super short, super fast tutorial. This is on how to get a camera to follow a path. So here's our troll, and we press play, and he's walking along. That's his walk cycle. So how do we get the camera to move? So we're going to add a camera, so Shift A. Actually, let me turn on my shortcuts here. So Shift A, and we're going to add a camera. You might already have a camera in your scene. Camera's there by default. So there's my camera. I'm going to rotate it minus 90 degrees and just put it up here. I look through my camera, and there's my troll. So then I'm going to add something that we haven't really used before. I'm going to add a curve. So Bezier curve. Now a Bezier curve, I'm just going to press G and move it out to here. A Bezier curve is a very different to like a mesh. So it doesn't have any vertices in it. It's just a point in space, or 2 points in space with a line drawn between them. It's like a vector. So I'm going to go into edit mode, and you'll see how different it is. So I have this point here, and I can move it, and I can also rotate it, and I can do the same with this. I can grab this point here, and I can rotate it. And then these are the handles for this point. So if I go G and make the handle longer, I can have a small curve, or if I bring it in, you can see I can have a much bigger effect. So, you know, the closer this is, the more extreme the turn is, and the further it is away, the smaller the turn is. So you have a lot of control over them. So I'm going to take this here, and it's going to turn into a straight line. All I've done is pressed OR to rotate them. And then it's pointing, you can see there's arrows, so it's pointing to the right. So I'm going to rotate it that way, so that when I go back into edit mode now, you can see that it's pointing towards the troll. Okay, so now I want to link the camera and the path. Now physically where the path is doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's up here or down here. The camera is just going to follow the direction, the shape of this path. So I'm going to select the camera and then shift select the path and go Control P, and then we normally parent to an object, but we're going to select follow path. So now you can see there's a dotted line between the camera and the path to say that they have a relationship. And if I animate now, you can see the camera's moving forward. Now if I wanted it to go backwards, I would literally turn the path around, and we'll maybe have a look at that in a second. Now how long is this animation? How do I control that? Well, if I select the path here, you can see over here it says under path animation. This is normally closed up here. So under path animation it says 100 frames. So that's how long the animation is. So our walk cycle is only 60. So I'm going to retype this to 60. So now the animation is the same length as the walk cycle. And if I wanted it to be longer, I would just put in a higher frame count. And you can see here, it's, you know, this number will change. We won't worry about this number for now. So that's it. And I'm going to look through my camera, and my camera's not quite right. I'm going to select it and go to my camera settings, and I'm going to zoom out a little bit so I can see the all of the troll. So I'm going forward, and I want to make sure on my last frame that I'm not clipping any of his hands or his shoulders or anything like that. So that's not bad at all. So I'm moving towards him as he's walking towards me. It's got a real sense of sort of motion of the character moving. So you are required as part of your project to have a camera follow a path, and that's what this is. Now if I just very quickly wanted to show the camera moving in the opposite direction, so first of all I'm going to take the path, and I'm going to turn it around. So now it's pointing away from the troll. So we're now moving away from the troll. Obviously the camera is now pointed in the wrong direction, but the camera is a child, so it's not connected to the troll at all, or to the path at all, in terms of I can turn this independently of this. So I'm going to press G here, move it forward, look through the camera, maybe move it back a little bit more. So now when I press play, I'm going to move away from the troll. So if we look from on top, the camera is moving away because I've turned this around. And if I wanted the camera to move you know, in a more complicated path or over a longer distance, I can just take this point here and go G, or I can select both of them, and I can go up here and I can say subdivide under segments, and now I've got another point, and I can move it out. But just be careful when you do that, because the camera will rotate and maybe I won't be able to see the troll anymore. So we'll just move it out a little bit. And now we'll look through the camera and we'll press play. And you can see I'm moving along, I'm kind of pulling along the path there. Okay, so that's how you animate an object to follow a path, and it could be any object. In this instance, we're just using the camera. We could have the troll walking along. Yeah, we could do all sorts of interesting spirals, and so there's an awful lot of possibilities with this technique. But for what we're doing for our project, that is all you need to do. So select the camera and then the Bezier curve, Control P, follow path. Then with the curve selected, you tell it how long you want the animation to be, and then in edit mode you set up the Bezier curve in the direction you want it to point and how long you want it to be, and then the camera will follow that path. Okay, we'll leave it there for now.